Welcome guys. In this video I'm going to be explaining how the binary search algorithm works, and I'm going to be using Python to implement this algorithm. So we have an array here, it's our example, and it's a list of numbers from 1 to 9. So the binary search works like this. Maybe you provide it with this target like 2. So it should go ahead and search for this value in the array, and if it finds the value, it's going to return the index of the target value. So in this case, 2 is the second element of this array, so it's going to go ahead and return 1 because this is the index value of 2 in this array. And if you provide it with the target like this one, maybe 12, as you can see in this array, 12 doesn't exist, so you should go ahead and search for this value, and if you cannot find it, it's just going to return -1 as an indication that the provided target value doesn't exist. And this algorithm comes with an assumption, so this array should be sorted. So the array you provide for binary search, it should be sorted. So now let's go ahead and try to implement this algorithm. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a function named binary search, like this. Binary search. Okay, so it should take 2 arguments. The first one should be an array, and this one should be the target value. Target, like this. And inside this function, I'm going to create 2 variables. The first one should be left, and I'm going to go ahead and initialize it to 0, and the second one should be right, and this right. So this variable left is for the first element, is the index of the first element of this array, and right is also the index of the last element of this array. So how can we get the last element? We just take the length of this array, and it's actually array, length of this array with a y, and then subtract 1, like this. So that's how I get the index value of this last element. So now we're gonna go ahead and create a loop like this one, and this while loop should have a condition like this: left is less or equal to right. Okay, so inside this loop, I'm gonna go ahead and create another one, another variable, and this variable is mid, which means the mid value of this array. And in this case, the mid value is 5, but how can we get the index of this mid value, which is mid? So we add the first, so we add left and right, then divide them by 2, like this. So now we're gonna go and create some if statements. So these if statements are the ones we're gonna be using to search for our target value. So my if statement is gonna be like this: if array mid, which means the mid element of this array, if array mid is equal to our target. So in this case, that means our target value is the mid value. So we're just gonna go ahead and return the index, which is mid. So this is our first if statement, and our second if statement should be if the middle element, array mid, if it is greater than our target. So this case, let's say our target value is 2. This our target value is 2, and our mid element is 5. As we can see, 5 is greater than 2, so this if statement is going to be true, this condition is going to be true. So what should we do? if our target value is less than the mid element, what we do is we're gonna change the right value. So we say right is equal to mid minus 1. So that means our target is 2. 2 is our target value, and the mid element is 5. So if our mid element is greater than our target value, we move the right, this right variable here, we move it to 4 here. So that means we're only going to be focusing on the left side of this array instead of focusing on the whole array. So we're going to ignore this right part and just going to go ahead on this left side and search for a target value, because we already know this target value is less than the mid element. So that's what we are doing here. And we're going to go ahead and write the else statement. So the else statement is just the opposite of what we just said. So the else statement means our mid value is actually less than our target value. So this can only be true maybe if we have a target value like 7. So that means 7 is greater than our mid element. So what we need to do is we move the left, our left variable here, we're gonna put it here on 6. So that means we ignore this left side or the left part of this array, and we only focus on the right part of this array, because we already know that our target value is greater than the mid element. So we're only going to be searching it on this side of the array. So in this case, what we need to do is we just need to move our left value to mid plus 1. So this loop is gonna keep running over and over, and it's just gonna be moving, either it's gonna be moving the right variable to the left, or it's gonna be moving the left variable to the right, and our mid is gonna be calculated each and every time this loop runs. So actually this is the raw binary search algorithm. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna write a return statement. This return statement means this loop condition fails. So if this loop condition fails, that means the target cannot be found. So we're just gonna go ahead and return -1 down here. So now let's test our algorithm. So I'm gonna be using the same array, this one, the one I just created on top here. So I come down here and say array is this one, and my target value should be 2. I'm gonna say target is equal to 2, which is my target now, and we're gonna call this binary search and pass these 2 arguments and see how it works. So let me create a variable called index and call this binary search, and then pass the array and the target as well. And then I'm gonna print the index here. So index. So what we just did here is we created an array with elements from 1 to 9, and we also created this variable target which holds the value 2. And what it's gonna do is just gonna pass this array and target value and see the index of our target value. So we're just gonna run this code, and it returns 1. Run this again and it returns 1. So that means this code is working, but actually it also means that it's just retaining the index of this value too, and we can actually just run and put the target value of 9 this time. Let's say 9. So it should go ahead and retain the index of the last element here. And if we run this code, see it's 8, because this array contains 9 elements, so the last element index should be 8. And I also want to put a target of 20 because we know this array doesn't have 20, so it should return -1 as an indication that this target value does not exist. So if you run this one, you can see the index value here is -1. So this is the binary search and how it can be implemented in Python. So thank you guys for watching this video, and see you guys